Hello and welcome to our lesson on how to draw a river or a creek with trees. Isn't it nice that we have some real ones to look at sometimes? Because like Van Gogh and Monet, it's best to get out in nature if you can and look at things. That's primary observation, or use your photography. All right, we're gonna get started, so get your pencils out if you're in my class. Look at how the trees are bigger when they're closer and they come right off the page, and they get smaller in the distance. That's called atmospheric perspective, and that's the exact thing I want you to learn from today's art lesson. So let's get started. I hope you have your pencil out. Here's the resource we're gonna look at, and here's your steps. So we're gonna follow these steps and grab your pencil. Okay, I'm gonna do two in the time you guys do one. So I'm gonna split my page in half right down the middle there, using my southern accent now. All right, so your first step is to draw a horizon line, a line separating how much river, the bottom you want, from the top. I'm gonna do for both of them, and it says draw lightly, a real light horizon line, because you're gonna go over that horizon line. You could see, you don't see it afterwards. You don't have to do a lot of erasing. All right, so your first step was to draw a really light horizon line. Remember, it doesn't have to be dark, doesn't have to be perfect. Some of you guys say, do it for me, Mrs. Smith. You can do it, guys, you got this. Next it says to do the hills, starting bigger and getting smaller in the distance. So let's do that one looking at our source. So we're gonna start bigger, your hills, and they're gonna go back further in the distance and have the bottom of the hill here. It's gonna get a little bigger, same way as you would do islands. Now on this side, I'm gonna have one going back, getting a little smaller in the distance, okay? So bigger to smaller. Now on here, you can see that comes right off the page because the river is smaller here, and it's slowly getting wider. That's 1 point perspective if you want to start small and get wider. And in order to get wider, to follow that imaginary line, I'm going to do my land here, a little hill here. Now I'm going to go back a little further following that line, do my next hill here, go back even further, and do my next hill here. Then that's one way to do it. Say you want to do waterfalls and cliffs. I'm going to do the same idea. The closest one is going big right off the page, a bigger cliff, maybe a little castle on there, a tower. Ooh, right? To use personal expression to have you guys all be able to. Next one's going to do what? Go back a little further, and your next one's going to go back further, depending on how you want your hills to look. That's called atmospheric perspective, where things are bigger to smaller. Same thing here. I'm going to do a diagonal line. I'm going to start with my, on that line, the first hill here, second one on that line. See how I use perspective here? And they're going to slowly get smaller, my land in the distance. All right, so you got two ways to do it. This is our resource, okay? Now I'm going to do the trees. Now remember, I showed you the tree right here was really fat coming off the edge, but here, look at your first tree's the fattest, and if you could do a stick and the letter Y, that's all we're gonna do to get started. So let's start here. Let's do a stick going up. I'm going way up near the top, and then I'm gonna go to the letter Y, or a V. Doesn't that look like a letter Y? See how fat that is though? Ooh, let's buff it up now. How do we buff it up? Well, we're gonna make it thicker. And so we're gonna make it thicker, have the side of your pencil, if you go like this, now you're gonna add some definition. See how it has a darker side there and a lighter side there? If I could teach you how to use tone, different tones in art, and guess what? We're gonna use the eraser and erase those lines or go over them. Then if I could teach you how to do tones in art, darker to lighter, your art's gonna show more dimension. All right, so I have a V, but look at all those limbs. Now you keep doing the letter V, make that a little thicker where it attaches, and you could keep doing little branches off, okay? Depending on how much you want. I'm gonna keep going to make this lesson short and sweet and let you keep going at your own pace. Here's where we're at, one so far. All right, so now I'm gonna go to the next one I have over here. It's middle size, your biggest, middle, smaller, okay? So biggest, middle, okay, diagonal. I really like how they do the diagonal trees here, because the way God created them, the way they grow, and this one has some roots coming down. Okay, so you start up, look how fat that is. Okay, that's about that fat. So I want this one a little skinnier than that one, not as fat, to show that they're getting smaller in the distance. Ooh, that one's a little too fat. If I make it a little too fat, you could erase it, right? Now I'm purposely, ooh, I got a bad eraser. These erasers attached to the pencils are not the best. Usually we have those pink bigger ones in the classroom, right guys? All right, so that one's middle size, and when you go up, this one comes right off the page, so it's really nice to look at nature, to look at the resources. I'm gonna do my V way up here. I have these ones. This one's gonna come right off the page, right? Because that's the biggest one, right? Your next one can branch out, have your different branches go in different directions, like a little guy, the way you do a stick figure, right? Just go back and forth. Have your branches coming out, doing V's, Y's, so it looks like a stick figure. So I'm this far here. Here, I wasn't gonna do, if I do waterfalls on here, and do the little Rocky Craig that I taught you, and my waterfalls land here, maybe I'll do a dolphin here. So I'm trying to teach you how to add personal expression. And you guys know if I taught you how to dolphin, you do a curve, and then you do an upside down V, and a little water where it's curving, going into the water with a splash. Or I've even taught you how, if you're doing a little deeper one here, how to do a whale tail, right? The letter V, follow that line down and do the base of it, do a little wave in the water falling down. So if you're going for the deeper castle scene, then your trees aren't going to be the same as if you do the river. So you have two choices here. Both of them we are going to add color to, and you could do any color sky. Just don't forget to reflect it. See, the sky's reflected in the water. All right, so we did 1, 2 trees. We're going to get smaller now. So this one, third one back, we're going to get on this hill. We're going to have it go up, and it's skinnier than that one. I'm just going to have this one thin, and have the same idea, but this one, look, it gets all lost in the greenery. So when we do the sky, we're gonna paint the sky back, or do color, however you do it, markers, pencil, circularization, the sky color, reflect it in the water. Then when we add the tree limbs here, what we do is circularization, little circles, just like with a brush, you'll do dab, dab, dab like that. Okay, you can do that, also called pointillism, if you do little dots at a time. George Seurat got famous for pointillism, little leaves. Ooh, for the look of leaves. Now look, they get really small, like little sticks in the background. And if I could teach you to do lots of them, little sticks in the background, and then have it get lost in just a little bit light circularization, because this is the last thing I want to teach you on perspective. It's darker in the foreground, lighter in the distance. See with my pencil how I pressed on it really hard to get darker, and I got lighter in the distance. Last thing is look at reflection. We're gonna have some lines reflecting, some rocks, it says, for your next step in the water. Should have a darker tone on one side of your rock. See that rock? Pause it if you need to. Then maybe a little shadow underneath it and some ripples in the water. So your ripples, your flow or your river, by each of the bodies of the hill area or the rocks, right? Underneath each of them is going to have a little shadow, a darker area, and kind of some ripples, because that's where the water is going to hit the shore right there and then ripple back out. So to add dimension to your art, you want to work on that with pencil, and then if you're going to paint it, you could go right over it, those ripples with shades and tones for paint. And you could add some land here, some shore. I'm going to end this lesson with adding personal expression. And I have, you didn't see a peek at it, some of my photography of this bird. So you can add anything you want. You could do internet research. I have also researched this to see some water lilies, my favorite flowers, also representing Cambodia where they have my favorite lilies. So I'm going to now, for my last thing in the foreground, do a lily. Okay. I do one petal at a time, and then the lily pad for personal expression. I'm going to do a little bird standing at the shore by doing the beak. Go around and do the head and the eye. Okay, then I'm going to come down and do the neck. Then I'm going to swoop up, do the tail feathers and the body. All right, this cool bird I saw at the beach. Let me get to that photo. Look at the stripe, how God made him with it. Look like he has a little hat on or a collar. So you could do anything you want. You guys know for personal expression, you could do a necklace. You can make his little body longer. You could add some legs. You can do whatever you want. But I'm going to say over and out from today's lesson. Spend a little longer adding tone, shading, personal expression. And I might even add a dragon or a moon in this one. Ooh. So over and out from today's lesson, my friends.